All right, so here are the notes, kind of a recap of what Menelaus has been telling Telemachus, which is what Proteus told him about these heroes who had not made it back home: Ajax, Agamemnon, and now he is getting to Odysseus. So page 69, line 590. And this is all he answered. Laertes' son, whose home is Ithaca. I saw him weeping, weeping on an island. The nymph Calypso has him in her hall. No means of faring home are left him now. No ship with oars, and no ship's company to pull him on the broad back of the sea. As to your own destiny, Prince Menelaus, you shall not die in the blue-grass land of Argos. Rather, the gods intend you for Elysian, with golden Rhadamanthus at the world's end, where all existence is a dream of ease. Snowfall is never known there, neither long frost of winter nor torrential rain, but only mild and lulling airs from ocean, bearing refreshment for the souls of men. The west wind always blowing, for the gods hold you as Helen's lord, a son of Zeus. At this he dove under a swell and left me, and I went back to the ship with my companions, feeling my heart's blood in me running high. But in the long hull's shadow near the sea we supped again as sacred night came on, and slept at last beside the lapping water. So he is on Calypso's island all alone. So what happens is, very much in the Odyssey, we find out what is going on before we hear it firsthand. So when we get to book 5, that's where we're finally going to meet Odysseus for the first time. And sure enough, he's going to be stuck on Calypso's island. All right, page 70. When dawn spread out her fingertips of rose, in first light we launched on the courtly breakers, setting up masts and yards in the well-found ships, went all on board, and braced on planks athwart, oarsmen in line, dipped oars in the grey sea. Soon I drew into the great stream fed by heaven, and laying by slew bulls in the proper number until the immortal gods were thus appeased, then heaped a death mound on that shore against all quenching time for Agamemnon's honor, and put to sea once more. The gods sent down a stern wind for a racing passage homeward. So once he offers the 100 head of cattle, he goes racing off back home. So ends the story. Now you must stay with me and be my guest 11 or 12 days more. I'll send you on your way with gifts and fine ones, 3 chariot horses and a polished car, a hammered cup too, so that all your days tipping the red wine for the deathless gods, you will remember me. So he asked Telemachus to stay, but in all reality, Telemachus is anxious to get going, but the gifts get arranged anyway. Telemachus answered, Lord, son of Atreus, no, you must not keep me. Not that a year with you would be too long. I never could be homesick here. I find your tales and all you have to say so marvelous. But time hangs heavy on my shipmates' hands at Holy Pylus. If you make me stay, as for your gift now, let it be some keepsake. Horses I cannot take to Ithaca. Let me bestow them back on you to serve your glory here. My lord, you rule wide country, rolling and rich with clover, galingale, and all the grains, red wheat and hoary barley. At home we have no level runs or meadows, but highland, goatland, prettier than plains though. Grasses and pasture land are hard to come by upon the islands tilted in the sea, and Ithaca is the island of them all. At this the deep-lunged man of battle smiled. Then he said kindly, patting the boy's hand, You come of good stock, lad. That was well spoken. I'll change the gift then, as indeed I can. Let me see what is costliest and most beautiful of all the precious things my house contains. A wine bowl, mixing bowl, all wrought of silver, but rimmed with hammered gold. Let this be yours. It is Hephaestus' work, given me by Phadimus, king and captain and king of Sidon. He received me during my travels. Let it be yours, I say. This was their discourse on that morning. Meanwhile, guests were arriving at the great lord's house, bringing their sheep and wine, the ease of men with loaves, their comely kerchiefed women sent to make a feast in hall at that same hour. So now we get to the meanwhile back on Ithaca. What is happening there? At that same hour, before the distant manor of Odysseus, the suitors were competing at the discus throw and javelin. On a measured field they used arrogant lords at play. The two best men, Antinous and Eurymachus, presided. Now Phronius' son, Nomen, came to see them with a question for Antinous. He said, "Do any of us know, or not, Antinous, what day Telemachus will be home from Pylos? He took my ship, but now I need it back to make a cruise to Elis, where the plains are. I have a dozen mares at pasture there, with colts yet unweaned. My notion is to bring one home and break him in for labor." His first words made them stare, for they knew well Telemachus could not have gone to Pylos, but inland with his flocks or to the swineherd. Epithes' son, Antinous, quickly answered, "Tell the story straight. He sailed? Who joined him? A crew he picked up here in Ithaca? Or his own slaves? He might have done it that way. And will you make it clear whether he took the ship against your will? Did he ask for it? Did you lend it to him?" All right, so meanwhile, back on Ithaca. All right, suitors are still partying and having a discus throwing contest. Naaman wants his ship back. All right, on to a new slide. Suitors didn't realize T had even left. Shows how much they're paying attention to him. They're kind of like, wait, Telemachus left? When? How? And so Naaman says, well, I gave him a ship and he went with Mentor, but it's kind of weird because I saw Mentor here yesterday, so where's Telemachus? Because remember, that Mentor was Athena disguised as Mentor, and then there's the real Mentor still running around. So kind of confusing with all these disguises. Now said the son of Phronius in reply, "Lent it to him and freely. Who would not, when a prince of that house asked for it in trouble? Hard to refuse the favor, it seems to me. As for his crew, the best men on the island after ourselves went with him. Mentor I noted going aboard, or a god who looked like Mentor. The strange thing is, I saw Lord Mentor here in the first light yesterday, although he sailed 5 days ago for Pylos." Turning away, Naaman took the path to his father's house, leaving the two men there baffled and hostile. They called the rest in from the playing field and made them all sit down so that Antinous could speak out from the storm cloud of his heart, swollen with anger, and his eyes blazed. So Antinous is all mad because they had said Telemachus wasn't supposed to leave, and so now the suitors are going to plan how they're going to get even with Telemachus. "A bad business. Telemachus had the gall to make that crossing, though we said he could not. So the young cub rounds up a first-rate crew in spite of all our crowd and puts to sea. What devilment will he be up to next time? Zeus blast the life out of him before he's grown. Just give me a fast ship and 20 men. I'll intercept him, board him in the strait between the crags of Same and this island. He'll find his sea adventure after his father's swamping work in the end." So basically, Antinous wants to kill Telemachus. So do the other suitors. They all cried, "Aye!" and after him, and trailed back to the manor. Now, not much time went by before Penelope learned what was afoot among the suitors. Medon the crier told her. He had been outside the wall and heard them in the court conspiring. Into the house and up the stairs he ran to her with his news upon his tongue. But at the door Penelope met him, crying. So he is one to pay attention to. He's the crier. Brings news. Penelope. Keep an eye out on him. Decide if he's a good guy or a bad guy. "Why have they sent you up here? To tell the maids of King Odysseus, leave your spinning, time to go down and slave to feed those men? I wish this were the last time they came feasting, courting me, or consorting here. The last. Each day you crowd this house like wolves to eat away my brave son's patrimony. When you were boys, did your own fathers tell you nothing of what Odysseus was for them? In word and act impeccable, disinterested toward all the realm, though it is king's justice to hold one man abhorred. and love another. No man alive could say Odysseus wronged him.